Hello everyone, this is Scott from the Exposition.com. Today we'll be addressing what is a Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin is a virtual currency that has a value only because we say it has a value. Essentially, Bitcoin is just a piece of code that is registered as a virtual currency. It has no physical value, meaning you can't sell Bitcoin. You can't go to the bank and say, I want to deposit blah 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 Bitcoins, or can you convert Bitcoins to. Bitcoins are a little trickier. They're only worth what we say they're worth. The demand for Bitcoins goes up and down in giant strides, meaning that you can sell a Bitcoin for about $100. Some days you can sell it for 20. I mean, they shift because the demand is completely determined off of what people want. What is a Bitcoin worth to someone? What can you get? And it's become an interesting and very controversial currency over time because it doesn't have it has no institution backing it other than the users that have it. Meaning, I can use, if I want to, let's say I have a Bitcoin and I want to go to this website and buy this shirt, and they accept Bitcoins. I transfer the Bitcoin to him. What does that Bitcoin in turn mean to him? He has that one Bitcoin which he can use to buy other things. It's basically a form of trade, and it only has the value because we say it has that value. So then he buys linen or some form of cloth or fabric to make more shirts. And then the guy who uses that can use it to buy more machines. And the machine guys can use it to buy the parts, and the parts guy can use it to buy this. And it just goes in an endless circle where Bitcoin, but it has no value. You can't just use it wherever you want. But if you get down to it, that's what a currency is. Currency has no physical value. If I have a $1 bill and I break it up into its components, that's about how much it's worth. But it has the backing of an institution. That's what gave it its value. And Bitcoin doesn't have that. So it lacks backing by anyone to make it actually have a value, and fluctuates greatly on how much it's actually worth. Yes, you could, and Bitcoin's also been at the center of many attacks because of it, because just people exploit it and they make bots. They make bots of this that will sit there and harvest by using others' computer power. That's the thing. The Bitcoin is only worth it doesn't have a value. That's one thing people I'm trying to find a reasonable way to explain this. But it has no value. You cannot expect to go to any store. The stores that it can go to are very limited. Many of the exchanges, you can exchange Bitcoins for money. That is one thing that people can do. However, it changes greatly, and it's being shut down because is this currency legal? It is a fake legal tender. It is an online currency that is just traded to buy items, and there's no real there's just no freaking way to manage it. And one issue that people come up with is people who hoard Bitcoins can shape the market. The reason that they say that is because Bitcoins are not managed. You cannot, in a regular economy, even if we took someone whose net worth was $100 billion, there's still plenty of money to go around to all the users. Well, Bitcoin has a finite amount, and we don't know how it grows with the economy, because how does it add users? If it calculates that this one new user comes into the market, how many coins should that average user ever have at a time? And does it add them? What happens if that user goes away? Does that mean we just have more coins that can be held up? And this issue is quite intriguing for many, like, even economists and technology journalists, because what do you do? What do you do with this piece of currency that has no cent value, and it's not even, it has no major exchanges, and those that are, they get shut down. It is often associated with criminal activity. The Silk Road was a website that was used for criminal activity. They sold drugs and many illegal items on there. However, Bitcoin isn't always used for that. There's a lot of websites that use it for good purposes. There's a lot of online stores that use them. It doesn't mean that they're bad, because that's that's how people associate it with. It's actually been used as a donation feature for quite a few sites, including web developers, which I've even found to be kind of interesting, that people are using Bitcoins as a form of how you can just, okay, well, donate him a Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin. Oh, that's nice of you. And what does he do with it? He can go out and buy a shirt. And it just continues in that everlasting cycle. I don't ever see it being big. I would think in the future some sort of universal virtual currency will be existent. However, it will not be the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin has many flaws. It's being used with phishing schemes, and it's just overall has a bad rep, and that will never appeal to the general public. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.